All right, just going live from the current location, and this is less than a foot and a half away from me. I'm going to manually rotate the device to here, and that is almost, that's a little over a yard away from me, a yard and a half. So just some topics to document. I'm not certain. Seems like some of my anatomy might be, this is not accurate at all, right? So some individuals might see this and perceive a thin woman, but this is not how I look. That being said, that would be a true statement, right? So this way, can't really do much about this right now. So some topics to discuss for a typical day is or isn't in consideration of husband's absence. He's not choosing to be absent, not me or him, choosing to be in this situation. We are cautious. I am cautious about how I describe what a typical day is or isn't for me, because I can't speak for her husband, but we know that like our brothers didn't ask to be in this situation, and none of our dads asked or volunteered to be in this situation. So it would almost be very cool to be singular in a way where I choose to discuss this as being family oriented, although I've been extremely cautious because me and husband we have been married since conception. So we hope that our dads and it seems that maybe hypothetically like husband, dads, and brothers are automatic best friends. I don't know if that's okay to say that. Excuse me. And at the same time, though, whatever our family is figuring out, we just want this to be associated with our family. So that's really positive. And if asked the question, am I always constantly in a perpetual state of labor because of what family planning is for us and how that's different? Me, husband, and our brothers and dads and moms are part of the conversation as well. And they respect our relationship, but I wouldn't discuss specifics, I wouldn't discuss specifics because we don't have proof of a security check that needs to exist. Some has to be included in every, and that's a big concern of mine, always. And I pace myself, like I stay responsible and accountable for myself for what's realistic right now. Is there seating available? Am I shielded from the elements of seasonal climate and weather forecasting? For instance, temperatures, wind chill, precipitation. This is a more urban area, but right now. But if if important to mention, because this is about the reality of the situation, do you want me to mention? If this were a place where droughts could cause problems, that's one topic. And then the segue, which is almost completely a different category, but involves self-care and functionality, is shelter and hygiene. And where we're like, I don't want to say skimming the surface, but this is not normal. The fact that I'm not able to shower, economical amounts of money were being embezzled, and I never saw a penny. So technically, I wouldn't have ever had, my husband wouldn't have ever even had a budget. We wouldn't have had to have worried about financial constraints. But God forbid, for goodness sake, if there was some sort of glitch, which shouldn't ever be even a possibility, I still should have been able to overdraft our account, at least what became an account here in the United States, which the detectives, private investigators, I don't know how it worked. The military, I don't know where the Navy is at, but the Navy may have been able to freeze our accounts, our original accounts. And then they may have been able to get more information on the banks that I had attempted to, well, I suppose within the past 7 months. So there's other topics that don't involve me that they tried to force me to inherit someone else's debt that has nothing to do with me. And I'm not saying that. I'm not speaking on behalf of my husband, and in the absence of my husband and our parents, we're not shaming or being judgmental. The pseudonyms and the terrorists and cult members that benefit from pseudonyms and corruption associated with deceiving the public to gain some sort of political affiliation, association, and hack into corporate franchises and change. We have so many examples of policies being illegally changed at Planet Fitness, at pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Because I've shown up, and I've shown up not looking like this. This is not how I actually look, aside from my hair and complexion somewhat like this, but everything else is not like the structure of my face does not look like this. That's not the color of my eyes. And my hair is supposed to be, this is white hair. My hair is very blonde, naturally very, very, very blonde. I wasn't just born with very blonde hair. I was born with very blonde hair. My hair was supposed to, it stayed very blonde until about 7 months ago. So they did something to me to change the color of my hair. Some people don't know that those kinds of chemical agents or procedures exist. We've tried to stay very practical there's witness protection, there's cosmetic procedures. As far as search engine optimization, we can't control where people are able to access certain information. We have certain kinds of questions. But just like with psychology evaluations, they don't usually make those kinds of assessment tools readily available to certain people. We wouldn't say that that's exactly what goes on with like search engine optimization, but hypothetically, because we can't support any fact-based information to communicate why we're not able to get the exact terms for procedures to kind of start to work towards a repair. But then we have to also acknowledge that because I'm not able to see an accurate image of my physical appearance anywhere, I can't really exactly measure what exactly is mutilated, other than like my hair color and my breasts. Like I can't really completely confirm exactly with exact measurements what exactly has happened, but my teeth apparently don't look this way. My oral cavity apparently doesn't look this way. There's been some sort of damage to my nose, but my nostrils aren't actually this big. And this is not actually the shape of my face, apparently. So just the this is just really horrible and is an absolute waste of time. And this is very tough sometimes to, not completely opinionated, but so many people just don't meet a standard to even be eligible for employment or even credibility, and they gloat and they fleet around here, and they don't even deserve the privilege to be here. They don't deserve the privilege to work at these kinds of establishments. I mean, they just don't. So the error prone associated with that's almost like working in a physical, like at a building where no one has any concept of fire safety training, or, I mean, that's kind of what this is like. There's all these people that are just kind of like, they're too high risk. They're too high risk. They don't understand what's really going on, whether or not they understand that's part of their citizenship to be a little bit more responsible and not so self-involved. I don't really know how to ethically approach that topic of conversation, because I understand that me and husband, our lives are just different for whatever reasons, and I don't know what exactly happened that started this whole like almost 200-year war, it almost seems like, right? So, or if just since bad people began to steal our variations of our intellectual property and all the fake news and everything else that's hypothetically been going on. Anyway, sustainability, haven't received any money, and people keep trying to hurt me, and this is just not really realistic to be existing in this way where there's no metric available. I have a bodysuit on, so now what? You know, what's going to happen now? Like, people have accused me of third space blocking, but they're referencing something else that was most likely associated with wearing silicone adhesives. And this is my body, and I'm my husband's property. We're each other's property, because of what kept, for many reasons, we don't have to explain ourselves. So why do people believe that they can treat me this way? And this is absolutely horrible. And then I'm almost not even allowed to have a stance or a boundary. I mean, I am allowed to have boundaries, but I'm not treated. People keep trying to use the psychological warfare tactics for whatever reasons. One of the motives might be to try to force me to believe that I'm like a slave or something, and I'm not. So they are really repugnant and very cruel, and just how they've been able to continue to exist in this capacity is beyond me. So we can't tolerate this, and because of this, on every continent which we own, this can't continue to citizens, civilians, the general public, because they're not private citizens, they can't have rights. I don't know how else to say that. They can't elect leaders. They cannot, because they're not invested. They don't care. They believe they're supposed to be served and catered to, and that somehow they can work and earn money, and that they have a say, and they don't. They don't, because they don't equate to what ownership responsibilities are. So they have to learn to accept that. And and I don't really know how to further address that topic realistically because of the magnitude of that. But they don't have the same rights. They don't meet the standard to have that kind of privilege. They just don't. They don't care. They're misled, they're mistaken, and they're problematic, and they're a constant risk. They endanger everything. I don't mean to overgeneralize, but we're seeing overwhelming evidence of lack of standard, lack of gumption, lack of initiative. And I just don't even know how to have a productive conversation, to be very honest, because I don't have enough fact-based information. I've not been able to sit down and schedule an interview with any of our dads that work in politics and how they've kind of made sense of like sustaining their presence, knowing that it's all a sham, or how they struggled to come to terms. I don't think any of them struggled, but this can't stay this way. So this is, so thankful to be able to sit here right now. I don't know that this will always be an option. I don't know that this will always be available. Mr. Joseph did venture here today, and that was really helpful, but I'm not a priority for him, and we've tried to discuss this before, like wherever the employee at the loading dock for the university or for the hospital associated with the university considers charity to be part of his life's purpose at this stage in his life. He's immigrated here. I don't know what the citizenship status is, but he's able to travel internationally and get back here and work. And he's been here for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And he's saying he's in grad school, even though he's finished his education where in his country of origin where he was born. And he was mentioning something about the security cameras, which is fine. That is important that they're able to see me, and hopefully they can see me accurately. The right people could see me and see me accurately. And as far as coordinating, if he's able to help with any kind of charity that we've offered to keep receipts and pay for, and if we could have a locked-in document that just for when we're through this stage of this, whatever this situation is. And this is a cell phone. This is a cell phone that he gave us, that he got for us, and he says he's going to get this activated, even though this had been activated. And then there were issues with this before he went on vacation. Now he's back from vacation. This is his second week back from vacation. Hopefully we'll see how this goes, but I tried to verify with him today if I'm not to go to the loading dock where he has welcomed and invited me to be at on numerous occasions for, I guess, about 3 months now, where if I need help, if I'm supposed to avoid the meal programs, how am I supposed to sustain if there's no food at the pantry, or if they're trying to poison me with the food at the pantries? So this just doesn't really seem sustainable or realistic. This isn't like a realistic solution. So I don't know that people understand how toxic and potent the chemical agents are. It's literally like a pin drop, size of a pin drop, could incapacitate for up to 6 weeks in a very, very severe way. So why do you, I understand if there's a need to figure out the coordination from where to where to where, but that should never actually get to me. And I've not been protected. So someone apparently went right into the grocery store and switched the items. And they're making them, there's biological kitchens after hours in almost every storefront here. So just unacceptable. And I don't understand what additional, this shouldn't still be this way, so I don't understand. To me, there's no rationale for every day to be like this for me. So we need, as the narrative and the requests have not. I just want to be respectful. I want to be respectful. I believe if there's a grievance that I can discuss my grievances respectfully without disrespecting people, but at the same time, the level of belligerence and inebriation that people keep trying to rationalize as a standard of within normal limits is just not true. And we apparently what we're not discussing is that apparently a police officer, should I mention this? Apparently somebody was lethally injured at the cafe. So we've discussed this topic of like skit sellers and a death cult, hypothetically, right? So we've reported time and time again, the reporting system has failed us. We've talked about bot accounts. We've talked about all the topics associated as unofficially in consideration of, well, we wouldn't even go the classified route because we have no support. We have no evidence of, well, we're taking everything one step at a time. Classified, not classified, endangerment is how we've discussed this. And these skit sellers and what people do for fun, they're death cults, and that is the reality of the situation. And now we've just seen proof and evidence of premeditation, right? So, I mean, there's overwhelming hypothetical evidence of they don't care, they know they can get away with whatever they're doing, and they rely on whatever they know, whatever system they know to be effective. They being multiple individuals that are recruited or wherever they're at point of proximity of consent. Do they know what their presence really means as far as are they trafficked or are they voluntary? Right? Or where are they at? How voluntary are they? So we're at this stage where there might be some more, at some point there might be more direct, explicit conversations, and I don't know when to anticipate that, but as far as reunification, correct? So I don't know. I've been very upfront with I'm not settling. So if there are any questions about what I mean, I say that. So as far as documentation, just today, like, are my clothes clean? Seems like the tights that I've been wearing, they're developing holes in the areas that are supposed to cover my private regions. And I'm just like exhausted for Mr. Joseph to offer charity, and then he's not reliable. When after I've tried to contract, well, if you're going to give me like $20 to $40 a day cash, because he has done that, and could I just meet once a week? Could we write up a terms of agreement? Could you just give me like $100, right? 7 days, 7 divided by 100, because he easily could give me $10 to $40 a day. So $10 a day is at $70, and for $20 a day will put me, not at 200 or exactly $150, but he's already almost given me like $100 a week. So however he makes sense of the charity that he consents to, but if he's not feeling well and he knows that I need help, he can't just like not show up because he's not feeling well, right? So that kind of cognition of, well, I'm not a priority, but he's able to have a conversation. I don't really want to exploit the help that's available, but I need a certain level of predictability to be able to set some sort of goals. I can't work with a falsified identity. It's my understanding that I'm supposed to kind of stay in this, like I'm a citizen, but because of the risk of endangerment and people trying to discredit me, I have to gain familiarity and gain support, because I've had absolutely no support, and a bunch of people that are like, drug addicts are being poisoned, endangering my life. because they can't see what I actually look like because they're poisoned or something like that. For that many people, it just doesn't seem possible, right? Realistically. So this has just been extremely tough while trying to contact people and not getting any responses. I don't understand what's going on. Didn't know that they were totally dead. Didn't know that they couldn't see me. Didn't realize, like, just the shock value or people trying to force amnesia. Is that all for now? So this is just not normal, and I don't know how much I'm able to help at all, but my priorities are with my husband and our family. So I'm upset. I'm upset to see what's happened with how our land is inhabited. I don't want this for what we have so many responsibilities. I just don't see this as far as governing and whatever the goals really are. I don't know what the goals are outside of our family, to be honest. And I don't know how to develop realistic expectations for how people fundamentally function differently. If they're differently abled and me, I just don't, there's no existential, but the magnitude and severity of what needs to be managed, what needs to be resolved, extinguished, and that people don't respect my boundaries. That's where the issues are. So this is very tough to quantify beyond in a fact-based way because nobody's willing to be honest, and this is the risk of harm has not been eliminated. Why? Why not? So I'm not going to be persecuted for something that's not my fault. And I'm tired of this. Like, I'm not going to sit here like a sitting duck. I'm not the problem. So don't you dare bring that towards me because I'm not the issue. I'm not going to be your scapegoat. You're not going to blame me or back me into a corner because you haven't taken responsibilities. Understand. I am not like you. I am different. You're trying to find ways to justify stealing our money. You can't do that. We have no tolerance for this at all. Eric saying like the system is rigged and all that. Okay, we have to put a stop to that.